reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you. John chapter 1, verses 6 to 8, and then 19 to 28. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came for testimony, to bear witness to the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness to the light. And this is the testimony of John. When the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" he confessed. He did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Christ." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I'm not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." They said to him then, "Who are you? Let us have an answer for those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, "Make straight the way of the Lord," as the prophet Isaiah said. Now they had been sent from the Pharisees. They asked him, "Then why are you baptizing, if you are neither the Christ, nor Elijah, nor the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water, but among you stands one whom you do not know, even he who comes after me, the thong of whose sandal I am not worthy to untie." This took place in Bethany beyond the Jordan, where John was baptizing. The Gospel of the Lord. God is good, and all the time. Wow. It's actually wow of the things of God and things that happens. As I said, as we were beginning, we are celebrating the third Sunday of Advent. It's only that, the first Sunday, the second we wear purple, and the fourth Sunday we wear purple. Today, we are supposed to wear something not really purple, but a little bit of pinkish, rosy. Supposed to wear a rose for the church ball, because it's a joyous day. It's a day that we celebrate with a little joy, like when mothers would go to one of the mothers who is expectant, and they wear clothes of the same color. These days they wear even flowers. It's a big party they are throwing for that mama. So that's how we are supposed to be celebrating today, bringing gifts to Mary, because she is very expectant. She's almost going into labor next week, probably at the end of next week. As we enter into the fourth Sunday, she will be nearing the counting time in Bethlehem. So they will be starting the journey to give birth to Jesus. And that's what we are celebrating today. And Isaiah is reminding us about peace. And when we hear about peace, it's one of the most contradictory words that you ever have. That people would take guns, take all the armor they have to fight for peace. Whereas the fighting itself is not peaceful, but yet they are fighting for peace. So what exactly would we say peace is? Sometimes we say prosperity, health, peace, wellness, completeness, safety, harmony, satisfaction, fulfillment, unity, restoration. There's not just one word that can define exactly what peace is, because these are words that we could use in place of the word peace. And for us to understand why it is important to be peaceful and why we come to celebrate Advent, we have to go back to where we came from. We are daughters and sons of Adam and Eve. And God had an angel called Lucifer. Lucifer actually comes from the word Lucis. If you are Lucy, you are also Lucifer. Hi. If you are Lucy, because Lucy is Lucis, because it means light. Because this was the most brilliant of the angels of God. He was the choir master like our brother. But you know, some musicians, when they go too high, they think they are on top of the world. And so he wanted to take the place of God. And so Angel Michael took the seraphim to fight against this angel, the errant angel Lucifer, and he was thrown down. So when he was thrown down, God wanted to create something that was bigger than Lucifer. And that's how he came with the idea of creating man. Because he threw Lucifer to the ground, he wanted to take the ground to which Lucifer was thrown to. And because Lucifer wanted to be like God, so God decided that this guy I am going to create from the clod, from the mud, I am going to give him a piece of me. And that's how God added giving us his breath. That's why we are all the image of God. And the image of God reigns in every one of us. And that's why it doesn't change. You know, when I was a kid, this is more of what we do in philosophy. They'll ask you, when you were a kid, was I me? Or were you the kid that you have grown to be now? And if you are the kid, your hand was short, now it's long. So, are you sure that you are the one that was a kid? And how did you know that you are the one that was a kid? So, but there is that one thing that doesn't change in us, and that is the soul. And that's why when we die, even if I die, my grandma died a little while, when I go to heaven, I'll not tell her, hi grandma, the souls are souls. They are all souls, so there is no old soul or young soul. So when God created us, look at the trend that took in Adam and Eve. Lucifer wanted to take the place of God. When Satan came, because he knew that this man was made from what was Lucifer, he tried man using the same thing. If you eat this fruit, you will be like God. And therefore, man fell just like Lucifer did. He wanted to be like God. And because of that, he went away from peace, from grace. When we want to be what we are not, we lose our peace. When you want to search for what you don't have, you will not rest until you get it. You are always you are here, there, everywhere because you want something. But when you get it, you have the finally you got it. Or you're making a transaction and it goes bad somewhere in the middle. Until you solve that transaction, you will not be at peace. So when we lost the grace of God, we went away from peace. And when we lost God, we became two things. God wanted us to be perfect. God created us perfect. But our freedom of choice made us imperfect. And that's why when Adam and Eve gave birth to their two sons, they gave us two characters in every man. Cain and Abel, I bet to differ, are two persons. There are two characters in every person. In you, you are an Abel, and in you, you are a Cain. In me, I am Abel, and I am Cain. That conscience in us that tells us, man, what you're going to do is wrong. That is Abel telling you, offer to God what is right. Then Cain in you is telling you, just do it, don't worry. Just do it. But Abel is telling us, don't do it. So when we fell, God in heaven saw that he had lost what he had created as the greatest of all creation, the human beings. And therefore God sent his only son. And why God sent his only son is because of what he is here. You know, the cloth around Jesus' groin and the waist is a later addition. Jesus in the Hebrew tradition was crucified totally naked, completely naked. And what Jesus came to do is to give back us the dignity of nakedness. You know, nakedness, the human nakedness, is not shameful. And if you want to know it's not shameful, all babies are beautiful until you clothe them. All babies are beautiful until you clothe them. If you unclothe a baby, everyone wants to hold that baby. It looks like a little mandazi. You want to give a bite on the mandazi. Everybody wants to hold the baby. It's beautiful. Because that baby is sinless. There's nothing to attribute to the nakedness that is sinful. But we, when we are naked, in the shower and everywhere, we're not scared until someone comes in to see our nakedness. That is where Abel comes in. He reminds you that that nakedness, you associate it with some sin, and that is what makes us feel ashamed. Not that being naked is a problem, because it is what God came to give us back, the dignity of humanity. And that's why our Christianity is not an end by itself. By the way, being a Christian will not take us to heaven. Being a Christian will not earn us any grace from God. Not at all. Our Christianity will not give us a grace from God. Our Christianity is a way back to humanity. If my Christianity does not give me back my humanity, my Christianity is null and void. It's useless. And look at what Jesus tells us in the Gospel of Matthew. I was hungry, you never gave me to eat. I was thirsty, you never gave me to drink. I was naked, you never clothed me. Those are not things that are done by Christians. Those are things that are done by people who are human. And therefore, Christ who comes does not come to make us Christian. He comes to make us human, what God created in the book of Genesis. God created human beings. And that is the peace. If the world today only got human beings, then it would be a good place to live in. But it has a lot of Christians. But are they human? That is the question. So today, John is asked, who are you? And that is the question we are being asked today. Who are you? Who are we? We are Christians, so what? I receive the Eucharist, so what? I do this, so what? Who are you? He says, I'm not the prophet. I am not the Christ. But he who comes, I'm not even worthy to untie the shoes. Do we feel unworthy of what we hold as human beings? Have we ever looked at ourselves, sit back and ask ourselves, what are we? After all I have done, what am I? When you sit back on that couch in the evening, do we ask ourselves, we have done all these things. We have done this in life. We have done everything. But what are we? What are you? What am I? That's the biggest question today we have to ask ourselves. And when we ask that, then we'll find a way back to our humanity. And then Christ will be born. And Christ's Mass will be celebrated during Christmas. And we shall be the light of the world and the peace to our neighbors. God is good.